Hello viewers, Super GT back on, wait for it, there it is. Okay, 1 second after the race starts there's contact, so yes, I'm back on Forza Motorsport 7. Now the car in question is the Bentley M Sport Continental GT3. Now I do make quite a lot of videos on this division, the Forza GT endurance class or hopper, and this is one of the cars I've not really yet got around to using, but it does seem to be an absolute beast. I mean, just look at the size of it. It is a British beastly car, the BBC if you like. We're going to try to put it to the test up against this bloody Maserati who seems to have blocked me off about 4,000 times. I think it might possibly be Max Verstappen. I'm going to look around the outside, but it's actually a good defensive move from him, probably not intentional. But with the power of this car, you can see there, swapping sides up the inside, over the crest, up into 6th place. So plenty of laps to play with here. 12 laps in total around Road America, the full version, with the annoying chicane on the back straight, which annoys me, to be honest. I'd rather it just wasn't there. A much nicer circuit, I think, without that. But it does cause some carnage, which is always good for a Super GT video. Let's see if some happens as we brake just underneath the bridge. I think that's always a good braking point for that corner. And we do have a Porsche off, although he's facing forwards at least, which is always a bonus in motorsport. So we're going to easily sail by. The Aston Martin here, another British, a very strong British car in this class, but only for handling, not so much for top speed, so I easily go past him. He might be able to cook it around the outside. Yes, he can. So that's the handling coming into play. And once again, as soon as we get back onto the throttle, I'm back past, but you see there, the handling of the Bentley not paying too much in my favour as I go way wide. Back onto the straight though, you see they're easily sailing by, and Road America of course many straights, so that does help. Now coming down into turn 3, now in 4th place, so the start hasn't been too bad, the first lap hasn't been too bad. First place is just going over the crest now, so the gap isn't too big, can definitely reel that one in. And we've got to get past this Audi first of all, and that corner there's not really the best overtaking opportunity. We got them power though. You can just see how quick this thing is in a straight line. That is the main thing that it has in its favour, straight line speed. Of course the road going version of the Bentley is a very quick car, but it is also a very bulky car, not one that's going to turn around very well, turn around corners. And this guy in 2nd place has gone off the circuit. I couldn't quite spot if there was contact, but this is Forza 7, so I will just assume that there was some sort of malicious intent. But now we're up behind the Lamborghini Super Trofeo as we activate hyperspeed into the last couple of corners on the circuit. So this tune at least didn't seem to really favour going over the curbs. I'm going to use two tunes during the course of this video. Both are written in the description. Both pretty much serve the same kind of purpose: straight line speed, okay handling. I mean, it's not awful, but it's good enough. It's just all round power, acceleration, and top end. Coming through the first corner, Lamborghini slightly wide, kicking up some Grosjean-esque smoke screens into the air. As we come through turn 2, then a bit wide of the apex, but as long as we can get on the power. Down the 2nd straight into turn number 3, looking for the 2 board, braking just before. In we go. The brake's actually very good on this tune, in fact too good. I took that corner too early. And now looking up the inside over the crest, is it quite going to happen? I'm going to go for the move. Doesn't quite come off though, but I think I kind of forced him into going wide. So okay, I'll take that position. I'll go quite gladly up into 1st place. Now this is lap number 12. It was a whitewash really. It was nearly 4,000 feet the gap by this point here. So I slowed down quite a lot, helped people to actually finish the race. Nothing worse than racing for 28 minutes and then not actually being able to finish. So we're going to move to Nurburgring Grand Prix circuit. In, of course, as you can see, the rain makes things very tricky. Now, as I said, this car is a bit of a bulky beast. Now, that can kind of pay into like your favour, as it turns actually not into Nurburgring, but actually just a bowling alley. There's plenty of people, again, rattled around like skittles. I'm not sure who the bowling ball was on this occasion. Probably half the pack, to be honest. But as I was saying, the handling, if a car's heavy, it doesn't really help too much with handling, but it can help with just the overall grip. It can kind of hunker down the car into the track a little bit more, and that certainly helps in the rain. So plenty of cars kind of spinning through the apex of turn 4, and I'm immediately up into 5th place. Now, it wasn't really one of my best starts. It's just, in this game, it's not really about just going hell for leather and overtaking everyone. It's just about kind of picking your way through the hell and the chaos. And on this occasion, I seem to have managed that. Obviously, not everyone, but up into 5th, that's not too bad. Picking up the inside of David Miliband, I guess the ex-politician there, giving up on politics entirely, just turned it to a career on Forza Motorsport. I'll go easily around his outside, up the hill, up towards the next chicane, behind the Audi. I'm still actually yet to try the Audi. There's a couple of cars I haven't actually tried in this division. I think the Audi's one of them, although I do see it used quite a lot. I think it's the kind of default go-to car for anyone who doesn't have anything tuned or anything. It just seems to be a solid car. But you see here the Bentley, much better straight line speed. I kind of have to lift off because I think I might have just kind of pushed him wide if I didn't let go there. He's got plenty of time, but he just out-brakes himself basically. Super GT pressure has hit home and he's gone wide, up into 3rd, into the final corner of lap 1. So I mean, that's a successful first lap. I didn't really force the issue too much. I kind of just let the race come to me. People span out, people make mistakes, as they always do in the rain. Now coming into the first corner, kind of just having to judge this braking point for the first time. Braking just before the grass changes to tarmac on the left hand side. A little bit wide, but that's kind of okay in the rain. I like to move to the right hand side here. There is a big puddle in the middle of the circuit. You don't want to go through that, so just get one either side, but I think the right hand side is better. Into turn 3, a long looping corner, plenty of water, plenty of standing water on the apex, so it doesn't always help, and also standing water here on the apex of turn 4. Now this is something you always have to watch out for basically in the wet weather races. Just where is the standing water? I think a really good example of that is here. So we've got the left-hander turn 5, but then it's the right-hander turn 6. There's plenty of water on the right-hand side. You kind of just got to change your line. You see the Aston Martin goes through the water. I have to go a little bit wider, so it makes it a lot easier to get on the throttle earlier, as your wheels won't be spinning up. So past the Mass Effect liveried Aston Martin. Just dip 2 wheels through the water there, but just keep it under control. It's on the entry, so it's okay. But I kind of mess up the exit, taking way too much curb, almost into the Aston Martin. I think just about managed to rescue the situation before it got a lot worse. So Shepherd there, going to go back up into 2nd place, and I'm back down to 3rd. But still, again, as always in these races, a long race ahead of us. Up the inside, and there was a bit of contact. I think I was well ahead by the point that the contact was made. I think he probably should have seen that I was easily in front. Going to activate hyperspeed booster once again. So I suppose it's quite convenient that Shepherd is actually there to experience that. Through the final corner, catching 1st place quite considerably. In fact, it's only been 2 laps and I'm already up to the leader. The Bentley really does pull. It's a really well-performing car. Looking for our braking point. He's going to go inside. He's going to go defensive. I'm going to go around the outside, and I'm going to turn in, force him narrow. Just run 2 wheels through that water. There's the puddle there in the middle. Got to avoid it. And we're going to go side by side through turn 2. It's good racing, good respect between us. I'm going to give him a car whip on the outside. Into turn 3. I've braked maybe a little bit too early. Maybe a little bit too cautious. The rumours are true, perhaps. And through turn 4. We eventually get in single file and I slot in ahead into the lead. Can I break the toe? If I can get a good turn 5 and 6 here, get away and just basically totally demoralise my opponent. I mean, if an opponent can stay with you for a couple of laps, I mean, they're going to gain in confidence. But if you can break away quickly, you're going to break their will. And we eventually did do that, winning the race quite easily, starting on pole for Suzuka. So a couple of actually good tracks coming up here, you know, full circuits, which is good to see. Would have been nicer to do Nurb in the dry, but that's the way it goes sometimes. So from pole position, doing our best here to maintain the lead through the S's, through the first sector. This is going to be the kind of section where this car really would not succeed very well. I changed my tune to the AMS Jawshe tune, and again, all linked in, or not linked, but all written in the description below if you'd like to try it out for yourself. It seems to be a very, very solid car for this division, and I definitely recommend giving it a try. So then through the first sector, I think the Mercedes behind, very strong, so all I had to do really was just hold it on the racing line, and there's not a lot they can do around the S's. It's kind of a one line kind of area. So just holding the first place and now pulling away. As soon as we get to something resembling a straight, then I've got the better straight line speed, and I can extend that gap. Braking on the end of the curb on the way into the hairpin. Patient on the throttle on the exit. A little bit of smoke coming out of the inside lefts, but we're away into the chicane, clumsy chicane, and I never quite know how to take it, but we do get through eventually. Still in the lead, maintaining our first place, with the Mercedes reeling me back in slightly. I'd imagine he has better handling on that car. That's why I have here, although this car is not too bad. It does feel a little bit clunky, but I think once it gets going, once it gets into its stride on the straights, it really does fly, and there's not much that can stop it. So here we go then, out of spoon towards 130R. So 130R, very fearsome corner. I mean, just check out the amount of downforce this car must be producing. That wing is absolutely huge, more like an aeroplane wing. Coming into the final chicane, it's in a different position, so I never quite know exactly where to brake. It's the deep one, and I'm actually going to go really deep, do a handbrake turn to go around the corner. You don't see that very often. Just about keeping the lead though. So still going to try to determine the braking point for that one. I mean, out of all the times I've raced this exact configuration, the braking point is still to be determined for that final chicane. I just never know exactly where to do it. So on the back foot once again, perhaps onto lap number 2 in the first sector. You can see poking his nose into the bottom of the screen to say hi. He wants to get by, but again, this is the S's. All they have to do, keep on the racing line, don't get pressured into doing something silly, and I'll be more than okay. In fact, a little bit wide here. I was surprised not to see him go for that. They would have put him on the outside for this left-hander of Dunlop, so I think I could have kept the position anyway. So through the long left, and we're going to just about pull away into the double right-hander. The name escapes me at this precise moment for some reason. And there we go, through there nicely, although he is on my tail as we come into the hairpin. And there's actually a bit of a queue forming. There are plenty of people ready, which is good. I mean, I love to see this. You know, if I make one mistake, then I'm going to lose a couple of positions. This is the situation at lap 4 or start of 5. You see the gap there opened up. I kind of got going after 3-4 laps. It took me a while to kind of understand the car around this circuit. But eventually, yeah, the gap did open up. And by the end, it was fairly comfortable. About 1,000 feet, which isn't, you know, after 20 minutes of racing, it's still only about 5 seconds, which isn't massive. But we are going to move to the final race of the video, which is Prague. Now, quite interestingly, I actually went to Prague just the weekend just gone. So, being able to see these kind of icons, the bridges and the buildings for real, was very interesting. Into the first corner, bit of contact. I don't think anything too malicious. A couple of guys managed to get past. I'm just into the back of the Corvette there, and also the Aston Martin, just to complete the set. Now then, that's FTR Adzhas. He is going to feature further on in the video. He's driving the Porsche. Now through the long uphill left-hander, I'm not sure if I made contact with the Nissan Nismo there. It looked like he kind of turned away at the last second. A couple of cars wide through the Grosjean smoke screen. Just about managed to survive, unlike Gasly and Hulkenberg, I suppose, on Lance Stroll today. And then through the long sweeping bends, I wasn't sure which way the Corvette was going to go there, just kind of having to get on the brakes. and down towards the hairpin left. Now the Prague circuit, so obviously based on a real location, but the exact configuration of the exact roads are not always properly laid out. So the layout of the circuit isn't exactly what it is in real life. In fact, the roads aren't exactly the same. I did actually visit this exact part here, so this junction, this road, the run up to the Charles Bridge, which is actually just a pedestrian bridge. It's a little bit more narrow, I think, than what it is here. And then, of course, the tower. Now, through the depth chicane, this is actually kind of just like a little market area, and the way it's laid out here is a little bit different. Through the depth chicane, actually walk through this, and then into the Old Town Square. See the big cathedral there at the front. And then we have the little statues on the left-hand side there, and the other Gothic-looking buildings. Balkit into the back of the other guy there, who I think was just braking to go into the pit lane. We've had an incident like that before around the Bernese Alps, so it isn't just me who seems to be caught out by that. So it's awkward pit lane entry here, and people do brake on the racing line. I mean, you can't expect it, especially as early as lap 1. You're not always going to expect people to do that. But I'm up into 4th place, and we've got Balkit now behind us. Going to try to reel in a couple more positions, so 4 places left to try to overhaul here, whilst simultaneously keeping FTR Balkit behind us. So of course, formerly Jacob Balkit, although I suppose once he changed his game tag, his real name, Jacob Balkit, didn't change, unless that is actually his real name. I presume so. I don't know though. Answers on a postcard maybe, I don't know. Down the hill through the sweeping chicanes into the long left. A couple of tram tracks, as if you push your baby down these railways in the middle of the road. That's really safe. Balkit goes for a move into the Love Tunnel. The Love Tunnel does kind of exist. It's not as long as that, but it does exist. There is like a little underground. You do go under sort of like a building. It's not as long as that, but Love Tunnel does exist, I'm pleased to announce. The Bridge of Destruction also does exist, which we're on now. And then the Chicane of Death kind of does exist. And I went through it. Luckily I didn't die, I guess. I didn't see many people dying, to be honest, but it is still the Death Chicane. This is the Old Town Square, a big famous landmark of Prague. And it's actually really different. It's really cool to see it for real, and you can actually appreciate it a lot more once you've done that. The same with the Seattle circuit on Gran Turismo. So that's Seattle last month. So caught up to 2nd in the Mercedes, and Balkit's right on my tail here. You see just how close he's following me. Prague's one of those circuits though, can get very narrow at times. If you just hold it on the racing line, there's not a lot that the person behind can do. Through the depth chicane, we're through there okay. This is kind of one of the things I mean about having a heavier car. It doesn't always help in all situations, but through that depth chicane, it actually really holds through there really nicely. It kind of just responds to the curbs quite nicely, and it's easy to deal with. So there's lap number 5, a little bit wide, too deep on the brakes. So Balkit's going to sneak up the inside, although he's going to turn to the outside for him for the next right-hander. And all I've got to do here is try and just slip myself ahead, and we've just about done it. You see they're just getting back onto the racing line ahead of him, so he couldn't quite accelerate as much as he'd like. Into the depth chicane under the Old Town Tower, and through the chicane. We've taken it nicely. Plenty of tyres all over the track as per usual. It's lap number 6, nearly halfway into the race, and through the long left up the hill, just about missed the wall. But Balkit is through up the inside. I think I just had to lift there momentarily. Lost a bit of momentum. He makes the most of it, up into the lead of the race. So now in 2nd, but with Balkit just ahead. He kind of matched me. He went toe-to-toe with me for the last 5 or 6 laps. So it's unclear whether he is actually really faster than me or just the same, but just simply behind me. So I guess we'll find out in the coming laps. So then towards the Love Tunnel, how is it going to go as we progress into the race? Lap number 7, the gap opened up slightly and just about grazing the wall. So the death chicane is somewhere else on the circuit, but we also have death wall. It's giving us some sim damage. So obviously I have to jump into the pit lane and get repairs. Now it was going to be a clear second, Valkyrie was miles ahead. So I'm just going to try and perfect the art of the death chicane. You see there, the car just really responding really nicely. Let's go again. Lap number 11 of 12. First part really nicely done. Out wide again. Cut back. Oh my god, it is beautifully done. And can we do it again one more time? Just turning in just before the shadow underneath the tower. And coming through. Oh, it is. There was honestly 1 pixel between myself and the wall there. 1 pixel. It was that close. Beautiful stuff. So the car really responding very well. The tune, or the 2 tunes I used in the description if you'd like to try them out. Definitely a car I'd recommend using. But there we go guys, I do hope you enjoyed. A bit of BBC, Bentley, big, I don't know, something. I won't finish that statement. Anyway, thank you for watching guys. As always, do hit the like button, smash it, in fact, like literally smash it, so that your screen breaks, and subscribe for more. I shall see you next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Listen.